first of all, ladies, let me tell you, you guys were fantastic in this movie.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Linda, my question's for you first. What did you know about Llorona, and what do you know about her now?
I didn't know anything. Is this working? Hello? Is this thing on? I didn't know anything about her, which was great because my character doesn't know anything about her. And that's actually what dooms her. It's what creates the terror is her ignorance of everything that Patricia knows about. I walk into this situation thinking that I'm doing something good for her. And in fact, I doom her family, and my own family. So it's her ignorance that causes the horror for her. I didn't know about La Llorona, and then I asked some of my friends and some people in my life, and they were like, "Oh God, why are you saying that? Why are you talking about her?" And then I realized how important she was, and how old the tale was, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, my grandmother told me that," and then her mother told her that, and it would just seem to go back generations and generations. And then as I looked, I of course Googled La Llorona, and the imagery that I saw that had been created, all the art that had been created, was totally familiar to me. So I thought, well, here it is. I've been seeing her all along as a kid, being afraid of this sort of veiled figure or this weeping woman, and didn't realize that that's who she was. So that made me sort of excited about telling a story for people who hadn't seen her up on the real screen, who knew, or the big screen, who knew of her, but also for people like me who didn't know anything about her, introducing her in a way that's something that is somehow familiar and terrifying, and defining that for people.
Yeah, terrifying is a good word.
Yeah. Oh, good. I hate to be happy at you being terrified, but that's sort of what we're after.
Did either of you have anything that happened on the set? Because we were talking to Ray and his bracelet broke during a scene. Did you guys have any supernatural or things that you felt happened?
Yeah, we all did. But first, I have to say, you guys are the most fun group we've had. It's so cool. Yeah, we all had. I grew up with La Llorona. We believe in her. She's an entity. She's not a story. And I was just telling that before, sometimes I start a project, you write this little prayer right before you go to bed. And you just write, "Dear inner self, if it is your will, please reveal to me in a dream tonight the struggle of the character of, in this case, Patricia, in the project of the Curse of La Llorona, so I can get closer to you." And then you go, with love and respect, you sign it, you put your name and the time, and you go to bed. So that's what I did the night before. And then in the middle of the night, I got woken up by this horrible, it was a scream, but a cry, but I cannot. Wow. It was the most horrible thing I've ever heard, and I stormed out of bed to get my daughter. I thought she was something. It was. So I hit myself on the shoulder with the door, and then I trip as I'm walking into, and I fall on my knee, and it was the bump from the floor that woke my daughter up, and she goes, "Mama," and I'm literally in my knees, and I go, "Are you cold?" And she says, "No, would you lay here with me?" So I'm like limping, go to her, and I'm pushing the sheet up, because I felt that I was bleeding.
Wow.
The minute she went to sleep, I rushed to my room. I'm shaking, thinking, what the heck was that? This was the most, how can your brain produce such a, I thought I produced it in my dream, that it was and I'm cleaning my knee in the edge of my bed, and then I looked at the note. It was right there. And I thought, oh my God, that was her. That was her. I heard her. And now, but you know what? So, and we were just talking about this. Somehow it calmed me down. Somehow it's like, oh, I get it. Now I understand the pain of La Llorona. How far are you willing to go to protect your children? Mm-hmm. Which is what I did.
That's
and I
crazy.
went to work the next day. And that's how, but it was, I felt like it was organic. So anyway, do that prayer.
Definitely.
First of all, both of you ladies did a fantastic job in your roles. And I know, Linda, this is like your first horror film.
I think I did like a peripheral role in one very early in my career, but I haven't really ever taken on, a role like this in this kind of film.
So with that being said, I mean, you're in the footsteps now of like Linda Blair and all these other...
The other famous Linda.
Yes, the other famous Linda. And just like being in that like category of like horror scream queens, like how does it feel now to be like, now you're one of us?
I love it. I think it's great. I think so many wonderful actors and actresses have been in horror movies all along, and I think if you're in a great horror movie, or if you see a great horror movie, you don't forget it. For me, growing up, I never forgot Jaws. I never forgot Freddy Krueger. Still can give me a nightmare if you know. And I think that they affect you. I love that about horror, and also I love that horror has great roles for females.
Yes.
And this film is about three mothers. It's not just about me. It's not just about my, it's about my relationship as a mother, her relationship as a mother, and La Llorona, who's a mother, and how we deal with our grief and the terror and the rage and the fear. And so to me, and also Janie leaned, her part as the young girl, there's 4 female roles that are hefty in there. And usually when you're sitting on a panel talking about a movie, it'll be, 4 men and 1 or 2 women. And so for me, I thought that was something I really enjoyed about this and this genre in general.
Love it.
I had a question for both of you. So when filming this horror film, how did you guys get past like going to sleep at night after those scenes? Because last night after I watched it in my hotel room, I heard tapping and I could not sleep at all. And like, I was just watching it. You guys have to act it at like, go on set every day. How do you guys get back home, sleep soundly? Like, I don't know how you guys do that.
I don't know that I sleep soundly that much anyway, but we were exhausted. I mean, I didn't realize going into, I had never done a role like this, so I didn't realize how actually athletic and physical it is. You're running, you're screaming, you're jumping, you're swatting, you're hitting, you're getting choked, you're falling, you're getting thrown against walls. I mean, all these things. I'm in a pool. All these things that you do, they're incredibly physical, on top of the fact that you're yelling and screaming and crying and begging for your life and begging for the life of others. And then, so there's a lot that you go through. And we shot in a pretty tight schedule on a pretty tight budget, even though Michael Schaub's did such a great job that it looks like a much bigger film. But we really were working hard, fast, and long nights. We did a lot of night shoots. So when you came home, you were you didn't know if it was day or night. You were exhausted, but it sort of was difficult to sleep. I think all that being said, we were pretty exhausted. Then you get up and you go to work the next day. But the exhaustion sort of helps with a movie like this because you have to be so raw. Not to be too self-serious about it, but you really have to be open to everything that's going to happen. You have to be able to cry and scream and jump and, do all of those things at the drop of a hat and do them over and over again. So sometimes the exhaustion can actually help with that. And, it's not like a glamorous, movie, so you don't have to look like you've slept 20 hours.
It's so, Linda, obviously she's the lead of the film. And what I saw in her, it was so exhausting what she had to do. It's almost like you were an automatic pilot, because she was on it at all times. So for me, it was a different experience. I wasn't on set, as many days. But what my experience, aside from the acting part and being connected to the emotions, was more when you get home and the scare part comes. Oh, how do you let go of La Llorona? And what I had to do every night is like, leave me alone. Don't come, because I'm making sure you look good. And it worked. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it worked. It's almost like we were allies. I'm here. I'm making you look good. I'm your Spanish ally here. You chose me, and I'm doing my job. So just let me save. And it worked.
I wanted to say both of you guys did an amazing job, because throughout the movie, I was angry with both of you at different points.
Right. As you should be.
As I should. Patricia, you were so evil to put La Llorona on her family. That was terrible. And Linda, to watch and how you're reacting, and I'm like, will you hurry up and go get the kids? What are you saying? Are you going to keep looking upstairs, or are you going to run upstairs? Like, go. Like, you guys did an amazing job. But is there anything in the movie that if it was happening in your real life, you would have done a little bit differently?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I feel like also when you look back on any situation that was hectic or hard or traumatic, there's a million things that you would change in hindsight. So I think you have to give the characters that benefit of the doubt, because nobody does anything perfectly when they're face to face with a situation that they don't know how to handle. But certainly there are things like, as a mother, that I would have investigated more thoroughly. I think I wouldn't have let my kids get away with, certain things. I think, bringing, I wouldn't have let them stay in that car while I was checking out that crime scene. But that's the 70s too. You didn't have nanny. You didn't have a nanny. Her husband's gone. She's got kids in the middle of the night. She has to go there. So there's certain things too that the time period lends itself to that you wouldn't do nowadays. Nowadays you'd pick up your phone, you'd call somebody. And I think that's what's kind of nostalgic and slightly, if you could say it about this film, romantic about the 70s and it being in Los Angeles.
I don't know.
Would you lock your kids in the class?
She was doing a good job. I messed it all up for her.
No, I mean, I guess the only thing I would think is, did I have a choice to let Linda come into my house or not? That's probably the only thing. Or why I would have never left her alone in that bedroom, looking and finding for that closet. My mom would have never done that. I would have been right there by her with the nail or the.
Yeah, we got to go get that hammer.
I gotta get that hammer right there. I would have opened up the door with the hammer.
Right.
So hold on a second.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you for your time.
Good job,
Thank
ladies.
you,
Good
guys.
job.
Thank you.